Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Layer by Layer, the live edition. Happy Easter, happy weekend. I hope everybody's having a good time. It is Sunday here. I'm broadcasting here in South of Florida from the Adafruit South headquarters, we can call it. In this stream, we're going to talk about part 5 of the Raspberry Pi PiGRRL Zero project. That's the RetroPie portable game console using the Raspberry Pi Zero and the Adafruit Pi TFT 2.2 with a couple other different components. I've been showing you guys progress and going through different iterations of the project, and I just want to share some progress and do a little bit of CAD. Hopefully we can finalize this project, wrap it up, and then I can start doing a guide and a video and get a kit together for you guys. So let's take a look at my overhead and see what we have here. And you know what? I got a new setup here. I got a little, I got the chat window finally in front of me so I can see the chat. So if something goes wrong, go ahead and let me know. Hey, what's up, Dustin? He's in the chat room. It snowed on Easter and the world is a bit strange right now. Take your time. Yes, it's a little strange out there. But yeah, happy to have you guys in there. Shout out to everybody, all the early comers. And let's go ahead. Let me go back to Wirecast. Okay, cool. So this is the sort of where I'm at right now with it. Let me go ahead and turn it on. So I have the slide switch at the bottom here. So I moved it. It was originally over here, but I moved it down there, out of the way, and it's recessed so it doesn't hurt your fingers. So here's the main case. I went ahead. The last thing we did in part 4 was make shoulder button holders, or just shoulder buttons themselves. I went ahead and added holders into the CAD, which I'll show you in a minute. And I have these 7mm buttons that are they're silent buttons. They have rubber elastomers inside them, so you can't hear them when you click on them, which is super awesome. And you can kind of hear it, but it's only the buttons like touching against the case here. But since then, I also made the custom Gamepad PCB, which is, let me see if I can switch it over here. Should be able to switch it quick enough. Okay, cool. So I went ahead and designed the PCB in EagleCAD, and it's very, very simple, a lot more simpler than the Gamepad for the PiGRRL 2, just 4 buttons, 6 different pins up here so you can access 2 different grounds. And the thing is about this is I want it so that folks can just use 2 of the same design for the left and the right, because the D-pad and the action buttons are actually the same layout. So it's very, very simple. There's 2 mounting holes, and of course you could do this with like a Perma Proto like I did, but I didn't have any mounting holes, so I couldn't really do a precise positioning and mounting in the case. So that's why I went ahead and designed this PCB, and I've already sent it off to Oshpark, and it takes about 2 weeks to get it. So what I did was, instead of waiting the 2 weeks and hoping that everything was well, I picked up an Othermill, which is that CNC machine that we have in the Adafruit shop from the other company. And that's a portable desktop machine. I wish I had it in the back here, but I actually have it downstairs. And I have been milling like crazy. I've been learning about milling, and I modified the design that I sent to Oshpark, and I've already modified it for the Othermill. So if I open this up here, you can see I got my my PCBs. Let me see if I can get this wire over here so I can extend it. There you go. These 2 wires are the power and ground that's powering everything, and there's the power boost. There's my battery. There's the switch. Pretty simple. And then this is really, hopefully I can get the camera to, and there goes my shoulder buttons. That's all right. They can come out. And the custom PCB, it's already starting to oxidize, which is kind of funny, but it still works. So this was the second iteration of it. The first iteration was mainly for Oshpark, like, you know, has this, a solder mask and all the good stuff there. This is optimized for just a single-sided board, and it's optimized for 2 different tools. So it's using a 164-inch bit and a 132-inch bit, which cuts out the outline, does the holes. There's how it's mounted, these 2 screws there. And then I just solder everything from the back of it. It's a single-sided board, so the copper's only on one side of the board. And it used the 164-inch tool there. So it's the same design, just positioned over here and over here for the D-pad and for the action buttons. And then you wire up into these pins up here. See if I can get that there. And then ideally you want to wire not to the back of the Pi. You can do that, but it's a lot easier to wire it into the available pinouts on the 2.2 inch Pi 2. So you can see there's little pinouts right there. Those are ideally where you want to wire into because it's easier. Because over here it's sort of like it's a bit hard to do the mapping of the GPIO because it is flipped, so you have to like carefully cross your I's and dot your T's or whatever. But I did manage to do it correctly here. So in the guide, I'll make sure to have all the correct steps in there. And then you can see here are the shoulder buttons there. And I'll show you guys in CAD a little bit more of the detail, but they're just mounted in place with a little bit of mounting tack, but they should stick on there just fine. And then I 3D printed these washers so that I don't poke through the other side because these are 3/8 of an inch in length. The number 440 screws, so that's actually a nice thing there. Those little 3D printed washers, and I think that's about it. Everything fits in here nice. There's plenty of clearance for wires, and I guess for some upgrades like audio and things, which I'm gonna leave out, but I'm gonna hope people can update it themselves and make the design better. This is just sort of like a platform to base your design from, or the project from. So yeah, soldered and everything was well. I did come up with a bridging problem that it was easy to solve. It was just literally one little hair, one little strand was touching the outside, and it was super easy to fix. So it just closes like this. There's no screws on the outside other than the 2 screws for the Power Boost 500C. And I didn't want to do this. I had pegs originally, but you know, it's just one of those things where like I'm gonna opt in this because it's a lot stronger, and all the other components are mounted with screws anyway. So you can see here, there's the shoulder buttons, and since these are printed in NinjaFlex rubber, you can just pop those in, and you're good to go. You can just pop them in, and the case it stays closed for the most part, but it's kind of easy to take it out. I made these little clips things that I'll show you in CAD very soon, but yeah, it's using the 6mm buttons. We have somebody, Mary, who's our purchaser of Adafruit stuff. She's sourcing out buttons that have the same profile that we're all accustomed to, the 6mm buttons, but for a soft, quiet version. So we are looking into that. And these are just sort of temporary buttons that we're using because these are from Mouser and they don't have the same footprint. But these worked out well for the shoulders because it only has 2 leads, and they just seem to work out well, so that's why I used them in here. So yeah, all the buttons work nice. I obviously got the software working, following Phil B's guide, and I actually want to do is show you guys Super Nintendo, and then play a little bit of Yoshi's World, just real quick. One thing I need to do is I need to take this apart and take away this protective film that's on there. I didn't want to scratch the screen, so that's why I still have it on there. But it runs pretty smooth. Yoshi's World or Yoshi's Island is one of those games that it's a little bit processor intensive, but it actually works really nice on the Pi Zero. Again, audio is one of those things that I'm leaving out. I'm trying to keep this build under $60 ish. Since it is a $5 Pi, we're trying to keep all the components and all the steps and stuff as easy as possible for people who are just getting into electronics. It's one of the main goals here is to make this an approachable project, so that's why I'm leaving out as many steps as I can. I think for future stuff that people want to go that advanced route, you can take something like this, which is a USB audio sort of interface thing that does audio out and audio in, and you know, I think there may or may not be enough room for mounting this. Maybe you can take this apart and just use the guts of this, and then either make a headphone jack or wire that to an amplifier, and then wire the amplifier to the Power Boost, and add a speaker. There's there's not a lot of room in there. There's a little bit of room for maybe 1 or 2 components, but it's just a lot more steps that I don't want folks to get hung up on. So I think for bigger projects like the PiGRRL 2, that makes sense. You know, there's plenty of room in there with the Pi 2 and even the Pi 3. You could definitely use the Pi 3. But I really like this form factor. Out of all the PiGRRL projects that I've done, this is definitely one of the nicest. It's basically like the Super Game Pi type form factor, but you know, it's small and miniaturized with the $5 Pi Zero. So hopefully you just saw all that there. It's playing well. I know it's tiny, but it looks really nice, sharp and crisp on the 2.2 inch. And there's a little dog here. He's gonna help me. But I'm not gonna play too much. I really want to get this case finalized and printing, so we can get to the guide and making a kit soon for it. So that's basically all I wanted to share on this part of it. I guess we could take a look here at some of the PCBs. I went ahead and made quite a bit of them. I plan to give out a few of them to some folks that are interested in sort of beta testing it before I make a kit. Again, with that camera, it's hard to get it live. This is actually the third iteration now. I broke the 64-inch tool, which is that really thin bit, and this is now optimized for a thicker bit. So you can see here, this is a little bit different traces, but mainly the same design, but just optimized for one single tool. This is what it looks like in the back. You actually mount the buttons over here, and then you solder everything over here. And it's starting to oxidize a little bit, so that's why I have them in these baggies, so they don't oxidize. But hopefully them being in the case will keep it from oxidizing too much. Yeah, let me check the comments, see if everybody has any questions about that. Need to learn CAD? Yes. Bluetooth USB dongle, that would be really cool. Yes. Then you can have wireless headphones. Oh, cool. I think Paige is in here. Paige is Pixel 3D, if you guys are wondering. How about authentic 8-bit PMW sound? Yeah, I'm sure that's possible. Again, I'm trying to keep all the stuff as simple as possible. So, okay, cool. All right, well, I'm going to get back to the CAD stuff, and you guys keep chatting it up in there. Let's switch over here to the CAD stuff. So, yeah, so those are the parts that I'm milling. Still waiting on the parts from Osh Park. And I think I'll do one or two last edits to finalize the silk screen and the graphics and stuff. So see how that goes. I should get it sometime next week, or this week coming up, I think. I'm not too sure. I got to look at my tracking info. But yeah, let's take a look at the CAD. So here we are in Fusion 360. And the first thing I'll show you is, of course, the last thing we did in part 4. We talked about the shoulder buttons. I made them here, and then I was like, okay, well, we'll figure out how to do the mounting of it. So let me show you what I've done for mounting it. So what I'll do is let's go ahead and hide all the components. I could just hold down shift select all those and hide it like that all in once, so it's easy. And I will turn on a section analysis that I've already gone ahead and made, and you can see inside the case what it looks like here. Put front view. There's the front view, so you can see here there's just these little elevated podium things, and then there's a back here. This is actually the button, and then you can see this is one of the faces. This is on the top part of the case, and this is on the bottom part of the case. So if we remove the top part of the case, you can see how it's held up here, and you can see how it's sort of holding it in place. It's elevating it into the center so that the button's in the center of the two closures, and then this is of course the button. If I hide the button, you get a better look at if you hide the button actuator, you can see the actual button here. And the cool thing about this is that you can see these little spaces here, these little areas here are opened so that the terminals and the wiring can be fed throughout there, so they're not intersecting with each other. And if you turn on the other side, you can see that both of them keep it in place. So when you close the enclosure, the button is held in place there, and it is free to fall out on this side. But because there's a shoulder button in there, it actually doesn't fall out, so it stays in place there. And there's plenty of room to push the button in there. And it's thick enough so that if you don't mash your button, you don't mash your actuator, it doesn't break the ledge here. So everything works well. There's a little bit of a gap here because sometimes it's good to have a little bit of clearance, so that's why I have some clearance there. And that's pretty much how the shoulder buttons are being mounted in place. If you look here, the actual button has a little bit of a lip here so that it can be held in place so it doesn't fall out of the case. And then since the case has a lip, I actually had to make some clearance here, so you can see that there's a clearance there for the actuator. So yeah, so all I've done is I made it on one side using some sketches, and then I just mirrored it so that it's duplicated over here, and all that is addressed down here where my face is, but all like the little features and stuff are in there, so I can always revert to it if I need to update it. On this side, it'll update it over here too because of the way it's a mirror, so that's good. But that's pretty much it there. If you look in the center of the case, I have this little geometry here. There's a little bit of a sort of connector piece that keeps the friction, that has friction that keeps the enclosure closed together even better, because the lip has a little bit of an offset so that it isn't too tight. And what this little connector does is, it just uses friction to keep the case closed without having to use any screws. So I've done that there, and I also did one. I also mirrored it in the back here so you can see it here too. So what I want to do in this session is actually add more of these, add 2 extra ones, so that there's more rooms of friction, because it's a little bit loose now. Since I've been opening it and closing it so many times, the enclosure, I need to have more of them. So let me hide the top case so you can see. I need to duplicate this sort of geometry here and over here, and that's what we're going to do today. So it's derived from 2 different sketches. Unfortunately, I wish it was 1 sketch, but it's actually 2 sketches, but we'll go through that in a second here. So that's, I think, it for showing the progress. Now we can actually step through and start making the stuff here. So I guess what I'll do is I'll turn off the top case and reveal the sketch. So let's go to the sketch here. It's called Snap. So again, it's 2 sketches. Snap clip side. This is the side where I have to cut through the lip of the enclosure to make this little insert, and then the other piece here is the bottom, which cuts through the bottom of the enclosure here that gets rid of that lip. So I guess I'll start with the clip top, and then I will double click on it to go into the edit mode, if I can get that open. And I'll just hide the enclosure for a second here, and even the buttons, so that I have a clear view of what I'm doing here. So this is all the geometries. There's literally just lines and stuff that make up this little square. And what I'll do is I'll use, since I want to duplicate it over here and over here, I'm just going to use the pattern tool to duplicate this. And I have to be careful to duplicate it over here too. Make sure that's in there. So we'll go ahead and go to sketch. I'm going to go to rectangular pattern and then just select my the lines that I want to pattern out. So I think it's like I don't know how many of them. I'm just going to keep clicking. Just the ones I want. So that's 6 of them. And then down here, I have to get the other side of the case. So that's going to be like 12, I guess. So that's fine. Let's see if I can do a marquee selection. Whoa. Will that work? I didn't select that one because it was a little weird. But yeah, okay, so all those 18. Oh, okay. Not 12, but 18. All right. Are selected there. And what I'll do is I'll just I'll change the direction type to be symmetric, so that when I pull it out, it'll do it on the other side. So you can see here it's pulling it out. And I'll bring back one of the cases so I can see where I am, because I don't want to get too far over to the left or to the right, so that I don't get intersecting with the shoulder button. So I think somewhere like 18. That looks good. 18. Looks like there's enough room there. Okay. So that's, again, we're just using the pattern, the rectangular pattern tool, to duplicate this, and then I'll extrude some of these out and make those geometries. So okay, I think that's it for this sketch. I'll have to do the other sketch next, but let's go ahead and hit OK, stop sketch, and then I'll start creating those things here. Actually, since I'm cutting in here, I think it'd make better sense if I do the second sketch now, because this is sort of in the way of it. Okay, so that was 18. The distance apart from the mirror was 18 millimeters, so I will remember that. And let's hide that again, hide this one, and we're basically going to do the same thing, but for this area here. And since I'm pushing it, since I'm extruding it throughout this way, throughout the whole case, to do the front and the back, I think I'm just using one sketch, so that's fine. or at least one drawing here, unlike the one I just did. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing. Rectangular pattern. Select these guys. I don't want to do a marquee because I'll end up selecting some of those construction lines which I don't need. So that's why I'm just manually clicking them. Just like that. I think that's everything. Okay. Let's go in the front view. Right there. And I'll change the direction type again to symmetric. And then I'll start pulling this out. And then I'm just going to type in 18 because that is the distance from the other ones. So it's the same. I'll hit stop sketch. And then that's saved in there. Uh-oh, something's saying here 2 warnings. Let's see what that's about. There's some chamfer problems. I'm not sure what it is. What seems to be the problem? Edges aren't being selected. I'm not sure what I chamfered here. It must have been, let me hide the sketch. Sometimes errors happen. I guess it was this over here. This, yeah, I remember this being chamfered. So yeah, that's what it was. Not sure why Fusion said, hey, it's no bueno. So hit OK. And then I have a problem here. Since I've added to it, some of the, I guess some of the things got messed up, but that's fine. That looks fine to me. I don't know what's going on. And then this guy over here is saying, hey, there's another problem. Oops. Let's double click it again. When you double click the feature that has the error, it sort of brings it back up and it says, hey, that looks fine. Okay. Well, it looks all fine to me. Since I added something, I guess it just kind of threw off some of the features like I was saying. But things look the same, except maybe that looks like it needs a chamfer. So it's not that extrude, but is it this one? Or was it this one? Yeah, it's probably this one. So let me double click on that. And then I'll shift select to add this guy here. Alright, cool. That looks fine. Alright. That matches up both of them there. Okay, cool. So, alright, we cleared out the errors for the most part. This one's still highlighted yellow, but maybe within time it'll go away, hopefully. It doesn't bother me too much because the geometry looks all good. And, okay, one of those weird things that happen sometimes, so let's keep moving. Let me turn on these 2 sketches that make the little clip thing. And they look good there. What I'll do is is it this one? Probably this one, yeah. So what I need to do is I need to punch out these lips here. So I'm gonna scroll inside in my timeline. You can't see it because my head's in the way. But let me move my head real quick. Let me give me 1 second, folks, to just move my head. We go this way. Nope, this one. This way. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just moving my head so that I can. There you go. So that I can show you in the timeline where I'm clicking on. All right. Cool. So I'm selecting these features, these extrudes, to find out where are the parts that I need to modify to just add on to it. So I think it's this one. No. Yeah, you can see here. Where am I? I'm editing a sketch. I double clicked on the wrong thing. All right. It's a little bit hard to judge where it is. Let me bring these back. That one, for example, because because I don't want to add. I just want to add to the. I don't want to add a new extrude. I want to modify the existing extrude and then just add things to that, so I don't have a bunch of extra stuff in here, because it's already like a bit excessive here, like just a lot of features I've already done. So I don't want to just keep stacking them on top of each other. I want to add to the existing ones. So I'm just a little confused here on which one is which. So like, what is this extrude? I may just end up stacking it just because I can't tell what's doing what. Like, what's this one? If I double click on it, you can see, okay, it's pushing out that way. Okay, so I think I'm getting somewhere here. So let me hide this one. So that's adding geometry to the thing. So okay, cool. And that just shows me what it's doing. So I use this one sketch here to create that little lip here, little lip that's going to be used as a connector slot. So what I want to do is just add these extra ones here. So to do that, I'm going to hide this over here. And you can see it's selected those guys. So I'm going to hold down Command and select these guys here. And then this one over here too. Holding down Command. And then that'll just add to it. So now I'm making 3 of those. And you can see I use the direction two-sided so that I can push. You can see it's like a negative value here because I'm pushing it that way so that it only makes a certain amount of thickness here. So I'll hit, well, let me turn on the right case. The right piece of the case, whether it's the top or the bottom. I think it's not that one. I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay, I'll hit OK. So that adds it. Whoa, cool. Okay. So now I have those. All right. Then I'll turn this off. And then next, I need to create some geometry downwards and upwards. So I need to find where that is in the, I think it's this one. Yeah. So double click on that. Whoa. No, that's the one we just did. So let me hit cancel there. Oh, I need to add to this side of too. Derp. Be very careful about this stuff. No, that's the little connector piece. I'll leave that later. Is it this one? Yeah. No. I wish you could name these. Like, what was the thing I just did? It's gonna be in this piece then. That's what I'm missing. That's why I can't see it, because it's maybe it is that one. No, I think that one was just for creating these on this edge. It must be another feature. Maybe it's this one. Nope, that's a different feature. That's to create the little connector clip. That's to cut something out, I think. At some point I gotta get to it, right? Oh boy. I'm lost. Oh wait, is there more over here? There. There's the chamfer part. There's a little clip part. Okay, this looks like it's cutting it. So what I might do is just add to this one and sort of recreate the extrudes as new extrusions as opposed to modifying the existing, because it's so confusing right now to figure out where it is when I can just simply create new ones. So that, you know, it's a good concept to, like, you know, keep adding to an existing feature, but if it's too damn confusing, then why go through it? Because I know what the shape needs to look like. As a reference point, I can reference these guys, and that's probably what I'm gonna do. I don't want to keep it so damn confusing. I should just keep creating new extrudes. So that's what I'll do. Yep. You just saw there, it's like a mental note of like, should I do this? Am I making it too complicated? I probably am, wasting a little bit of time. But alright, so 2 millimeters is the length of this guy. So what I'll do is I'll extrude these guys, make a new extrusion, just select them like that, hit E on my keyboard, and then I'll push it up to make that 2 millimeter extrude. It's going to join as an operation to the bottom here of this piece of the case, which is the top case. I'll hit OK. And I'll do that. Here's where I can add. I can add to this guy, because this is easy too. Oh, I see. I need to push this forward, because you can do that if you cross your fingers like that. Okay, now that's in front, so if I double click on it, the feature will now be there. So I can hold on Command and select the things that I want to chamfer here. Chamfer, just like that. Okay, okay. So that piece is done. Now I got to do the other side, which is over here, and I don't have those extra geometries yet, so that's fine. I will create new extrudes and stuff to make them. So I'll select the right dealie here, and I will go ahead and hit extrude on the E command, E hotkey, whatever. It's going to be this one and this one. Change it. So we go to the left real quick. Looks like I have to push it out enough to match up this guy here. And it's going to start cutting away, which I will change in a smidge second. Change the operation to join. And that should add to the enclosure. Okay. Looks good. Okay. Alright. So it's matching up like that, almost there. I need to add some chamfers and stuff a little bit. I'm going to make sure, let me turn on one of the analysis so I can just see that portion. Doesn't it look shorter? This looks shorter. This is 1.8, and this is definitely a little bit bigger. This is 2, yeah, so I need to add that little bit to it. So I need to add this bit here, that piece. That will make it 2 millimeters as opposed to the 1.8 millimeters it is now. And it's super slow because I'm streaming, but that's fine. Let's just click on, hold down Option to add to that. Search my section analysis. Thank you, section analysis. I'll hit OK. I should add to it. Now, hoping that's 2. Yep, 2 millimeters. Okay, cool. So we're matching it up. We've got to make sure everything is the same here. So that's why I'm double, triple checking, making sure. Okay. Let me hide this here and see if I can get this chamfer. Where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. Let's so this is the chamfer that selects that. Now if I double click on that, these guys won't be there because I'm further in the timeline. So I'm going to drag that again over here. Come on. It's not dragging. It's very, very slow to drag. Oh boy. Yes, yes, I know I have a warning. No, I might, since I can't drag it over, I don't think it wants to. Look at that, it doesn't let me drag it, so I'm just gonna add new ones. Trying to be optimizational here, and sometimes you just gotta keep futzing. Oh my god, so slow. And that's going to be about 1.2 on the chamfer. Okay, cool. Alright, well that's looking okay. And that's looking okay. And this is just one piece. I still have to do the other piece to make those like little cuts and stuff. Alright, well let's bring back the, I think the top one. Yep. So this top one is going to be a new extrude. I'll hit extrude, click on that, click on that. I need to make 4 of them. So 2 over here on this side, and then 2 on this side. Oh wait, I already created those. Sweet. Good. So I'll just bring these up. I think it's by 2. Double make sure, reference this guy, just click on the edge, hit I on my keyboard, it'll tell me what the measurement is, 2, it's good. Then I'll add some chamfers to this thing. Let's add a chamfer here, and here. These guys are already chamfered, good. Alright, so I think that's it for the bottom or the top case. Now we need to start cutting out holes for the bottom case. So you can see how that's fine, but this is not, so I need to cut out over here, cut down to the bottom. So let's go ahead and hide that. Keep the bottom. These are the geometries I need to create. Get rid of the section analysis. So I only have, okay, so you can see here I only have 2 of these cutouts, little insert areas. Again, this is gonna help keep the case closed with extra points of friction. And this is a little bit of a futzing around, but I think it'll be worth it. Because I don't think I have room for screws on the corners. Unless I make the case bigger, which I don't want to do. So let's bring back the these guys, which make it possible. And what I'll do is I'll hit E on my keyboard. We're gonna extrude over here, and I can't access them because the case is getting in my way. So I'm gonna hide it temporarily. Select these guys. The middle's already done, so skip that and go over here on the other side of the fence. Select these guys. Yep, And then I'll bring back the bottom case. And then I'll cut. I will cut it. Or actually cut it this way. Yeah. So now we have our cuts there. Now I need to make these little intermediate cuts, these little section cuts here, but on these sides. So I'll hit E again. Again, I really wish I could have added to those existing features that were already used to make the first original cuts for the center, but it was way too confusing. I couldn't make sense of it. Two reasons why. I think it's because, one, my machine is super duper slow because I'm streaming, and it's just a lot of geometry in the way. So, you know, sometimes it would be clean and tidy, but just add extra stuff to it. All right, I think it's cutting. We go a little bit deeper for good measure. Yeah, okay. Let me hide that. All right. A lot of extra details here, or geometry. Hopefully this isn't an overkill and actually making the case better. If not, you know, I'll revert back to it and like add screws or something, but I think this will be okay. Let's bring back the top case and ensure that everything is, you know, where it needs to be. Yeah. Another thing is, like, it's so slow every time I drag and just orbit, like the outlines disappear because it's trying to like save on memory or something. And I'm just looking through some of the section analysis so I can actually see and double check everything is good. So far it looks okay. You see there's a little clearance there from here to here, but not over here. I must have missed that. But one of the things I wanted to do is actually get rid of that clearance so that there is even more friction, points of friction. So I think that's fine. I guess that's one way to look into it. Yep, so you can see that. Okay, well, I think that's it. Now, what seemed like it would be like a 10-minute fix in my eyes, like in my head, I was like, you know, this will probably take me 10 minutes. So it has actually taken 30 minutes. So it does take a little bit of extra time, especially since just where I am with the design. You can see there's a lot of features and stuff that we've applied to it. But at least you get to see sort of the design workflow. Like sometimes you try to be sort of optimized, and some things don't work out because it's like it's too cumbersome to do that. So you just add extra features into your timeline, which I think is fine. I mean, that's why it's there. But like again, I'm a big advocate of like keeping my timeline as short as possible so that you can go in there and make sense of all the features. But there's a lot going on here, so that's fine. It's such a simple enclosure too, but there's a lot of intricacy into the little mounting bits and stuff. And I haven't really done this type of mounting feature clip thing before. Seems simple enough, but as you know, as I do more, I think we'll find areas to make it a little bit more optimized in terms of just features that it takes to do that. Because this is one of those things where you think about it only after that you've made it, and you think, oh, I just want to add more to it. Well, if you thought about that before, maybe you could have, at least me, maybe I could have, if I'd known that I wanted 3, I would have designed for 3 in mind, and I wouldn't have had all these errors and weirdness of adding to that existing feature. But that's it for now, guys. I'm going to try to print this out, and hopefully all the snap bits don't break off, and hopefully it's all worth it for that. I mean, it's just 30 minutes or so worth of work, but again, I felt like it should have been 10 minutes worth of work. So again, that's all I wanted to do. That was the final touches of the enclosure. I'm gonna go ahead and release this as soon as the kit and the guide is done for it. I'm gonna release that out. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. I just keep looking at it and thinking, is everything okay? I think so. Show all the components. And just sort of home this here and then save it. Added extra clip pieces. And that'll be its own version. We're on version 34 now. This is 33. You can see here in the title, version 33, and over here, version 33. So we've done quite a bit to the enclosure. It's simple, but complicated inside a little bit. All right, let's go over to the overhead while that saves. This is still running. Good, it's good to have a good big beefy battery. 2,000 milliamps should give you quite a bit of time. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the chat, guys. Sorry, I've been so deep in this freaking hole of trying to optimize shit. Oh, buddy. If anybody has any questions, I guess go ahead and throw them in there. Is it the case going to just click together, or is there some screws holding the parts together? That was from Kirby. That was probably a while ago, but yeah, it is those little clips that are just snap fit together. Hopefully the friction and stuff works out. Put your nose up and put it on and smell that pancake goodness. Yeah, sometimes it smells like pancakes. What's your definition of cheap? Affordable? It's relative. Cheap is relative, huh? Any questions about the design, or happy Easter, everybody? Yep. Thank you guys for coming in here. And yeah, my head's been here and there. Looks like there was a suggestion. Bluetooth music audio stereo receiver. $6. Whoa, that might be worth looking into. That could solve the audio problem. Because, there's enough room in there for USB dongle. Did I show you guys that? Let me see if I can pop this open again. So I have one of these little USB slim, what do you call them? USB slim to go, USB go things, right? So it's using the micro USB. These are in the shop. They're these incredibly low profile, tiny OTG adapter, on the go USB adapter. And we have these in the shop because for good reason. So there's nothing plugged into it now, but I could plug this little audio dually in here. But then I have all this stuff, and it doesn't fit in the case. I gotta break it open, do some hacker stuff. But you could put a Wi-Fi dongle on here, or I guess the Bluetooth audio dongle thing. Maybe that's a good option. I'll have to check that out. But thank you for the suggestion, Dustin. Definitely could be an option. Put nail polish on your PiGRRL. Hee hee hee. Alright. Is there a place to get the 3D files? There will be. I will share the public link to the Fusion 360 files. You'll be able to download it in multiple file formats, including SAT, IGS, STEP, and quite a few other ones. I'm just reading through the comments because I have them over here. Okay. Do you recycle the previous prints? Yeah, we throw them in the recycling bin. We don't make filament out of it because sometimes it won't work so well. Okay. Well, any other questions? Drop them down. I wanted the stream to be like about a half hour long. I wonder how long it has been. Oh, 28 minutes. We're good. It just felt like forever because, working on the little connector clips, it felt like an eternity. It's like, oh my God, am I overthinking this? If you guys are looking for like a cheap printer, look at that, like a good cheap printer. A lot of folks seem to like that Duplicator i3, man. I keep saying that because there's anything under $500 for like a pretty big bed is hard to come by. But that i3, man, Wanhose is doing it up. M3D is a hit or miss. Some get junk and get results. That's right, man. It is a hit or miss. Some people are doing good. It's a slow printer. It's a small printer, but it's like a cute printer, and you're paying for the cuteness. And I don't know. Lulzbot or M3D? Well, there's other options. Lulzbot is pretty pricey, but Lulzbot is a good machine. Definitely, Kirby would know. Yeah, the Lulzbot brand. They got a really nice brand. Super open source, super Apple friendly, great customer service. I'm not sure about the customer service from the duplicator, the Wanho guys. I'm not sure. They're in China. It's not a bad thing, but I think the Lulzbot would be more sort of that comes into the price of the Lulzbot is that sort of that good community and support team that is what you're paying for. They're gonna help you out. How much is the duplicator i3? I think it is $400. It's like is it $399 or $299? Check it out. Look it up. I don't know. There's reviews out there, so yeah. Do you want good support, or do you want just a printer that you're on your own with? That's sort of the balance or the option you have to choose from. Do you want a good cheap printer that's from China and that maybe they'll help you out, maybe not? I'm not sure. I don't know about their support team, but I'm definitely sure the Lulzbot guys will help you out if something goes wrong. They'll replace your parts and whatnot. So, same thing with PrinterBot. PrinterBot's a good low price for like the simple $600. But you get a small bed, but you get great support, great company, good support team, and they'll help you out when things break or whatever. I just bought this person here, Vin, just bought a duplicator i3 and actually returning it. What happened? Let people know what happened with it. Did it just break, or is it really that cheap? Is it like cheap in terms of quality and build? The things I've been seeing on YouTube may be just a hit or miss as well. Eric Williams is in the chat talking about the solid doodle. Yeah, he's had it for 3 years. Wow. Yeah, I have a buddy who has one too. It broke down on him as well. I think the company is in a bit of a struggle right now. How's the audio, folks? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, it looks like it's okay. Okay. Well, this is cool. Just talking about what's your favorite printer. That's like asking a photographer what's your favorite lens. I think I've said that before. My favorite printer is the one in my pocket or something like that. That's one. It's hard to pick one because they're all pretty good. Anything that we have in the Adafruit shop is like we like them. That's why they're in the shop. But one that sort of does it all. Man, it's tough to choose. Yeah, I'd probably say the FlashForge Creator Pro because it's a good medium-sized printer. It's a pretty decent price point for a dual head. It can do NinjaFlex. It can do just about any material. It's got a heated bed, enclosure, all that dealy stuff for about $12.99, which is a little bit pricey, but for what it has, all the features and things, it's a pretty good machine. Sailfish, and it's not Merlin, it's Sailfish, which is not better, but it has some really nice features built into it, which is pretty good. So I like my FlashForge. Then again, I like the PrinterBot Play. The only thing is it's a little bit, I can't fit this as one. I'd have to cut it up. I'd have to cut this enclosure up in halves, but I really like the PrinterBots. Those are really good ones too. Why are 3D printers so expensive? They are expensive because, so why are they more expensive here in the States? Because people cost money, and these people have to assemble them. They're cheaper in China because I guess labor is a little bit lower, and they have machines and components very, very, very cheap over there. So that's why people like the Wanho company can make it so affordable, cheap. This guy over here, Jan, has the i3 from Wanho. It says it works great. Issues printing large ABS parts. I can imagine so because it's not enclosed. It's a fully open frame. That's one of the things. When you want to print with ABS, you got to have that enclosure. That's another reason why I like the FlashForge. It comes with the enclosure kit. So all the sides and stuff are pretty much closed, and it has a hood and all that stuff comes with it. It's acrylic see-through thing, so you got a door and whatnot. So general 3D printer question. My hot end bumps up against the print when it moves across the bed. Any ideas how to stop it? Is it you mean like it's curling up? If it's curling up, you need an active cooling fan, which will keep that down. I think that might be it. That or just level the bed so it's not so crunched up against the filament. Or you could buy a kit. A kit is cheaper, yeah, because it's not assembled. You do have to assemble it, and it's going to be as good as you assemble it, and as good as the tutorials and guides are on assembling. But that is certainly an option if that's your thing. Your extrusion rate and flow multiplier tuned. Yeah, most people tend to have like a 100% extrusion rate, and I think that's also the flow. Yeah. $500. There's so many printers out on the market. It's crazy to put them all down, and you know, there's a lot of reviews out there and stuff too. I think 3D Hubs does a great job of showing with their monthly trends and stuff. Yeah. There are plenty of tutorials on how to build the kit. Yeah, it depends which kit, right? Oh, okay, yeah. Eric is agreeing about the active cooling fan. Yep. Or too much extrusion. Yep. All right, folks. We're crossing over that half-hour mark, which works out really well. I think that's all I wanted to cover. I will probably print out the parts later in the day. I gotta take a break and change my laundry. This is laundry day. Yeah, but I appreciate everybody coming out. I hope everybody's having a great Eastern weekend. Maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow on the Othermill or some other stuff. But you know, the PiGRRL Zero project is definitely coming to a close. It's going really well. Again, love the form factor. I love the simplicity of the builds. It's a good entry project. It's what we try to do on most of our projects, is to make them approachable and stuff. I know the PiGRRL 2 kit has not been in stock in a while. It's out of my control and things. I hope everybody understands that. We came, you know, it came out a little, you know, a couple months ago. I can't even remember. There's too many things going on. Well, all right, guys, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys again so much. I appreciate you guys in the chat room chatting it up, keeping it nice and civil. You guys are awesome. Love the community. Guys, you know, enjoy the rest of your day. And remember to keep on making and all whatever I usually say. Thanks, guys. I will see you next time. But until then, you know, keep it awesome. Bye, guys.